It's 31st of July. The days are getting shorter, but there's still a lot of heat around, and the growth has been amazing. Not in a good way, mostly weeds. But now that I'm 6 months here, I thought it would be a good time to step back, kind of see what I've done. Because it's still a hobby, and I'm not spending all of my time out here, it sometimes feels I'm not getting as much done as I'd like, but I'm pretty happy with where I am and what I've done this year. So I'm going to walk you through a few of the projects I've kind of done and started. The first one, which I already did a video on, was the hedgerows, and they're still taking up a lot of my time, mainly down here at the south boundary, where the weeds have absolutely swallowed them up. And I made a big mistake cutting my hawthorn whips down to 1 inch. Because they were quickly surrounded by nettles and buttercup, and they haven't really had a chance to establish. And as I'm pulling back the weeds here now, these I worked on during the week. Before that, the weeds were up here, and I've pulled them all back. And I found tiny little hawthorn plants at the back, and they're still alive, unbelievably, because they're not getting any light. So I kind of figured a lot of them would be dead, but nature is very persistent. And so now that I've given them some room to breed, I hope they'll start to establish a bit more before the winter. And what I'm also doing is putting up a windbreak here before winter, because we do get a very strong southerly and westerly wind here. So doing as much as I can to protect these during the winter, and then they'll get a good start next spring, hopefully. But yeah, the likes of the elder now that I didn't cut back are all doing okay. And so today I'm actually going to work all the way down here, clearing back the weeds and putting up this windbreak, which I actually hadn't planned at all to put here. It was going to be originally for the market garden. But hey, look, I can buy more windbreak. So yeah, I think you all know what a big fan I am of the hedgerow. Really want to see this hedgerow establish, so that's why I'm putting a lot of time into it this week. And the other project I started this year was the perennial patch. So the perennials are the long-lived plants, and so it kind of just made sense to get these in the ground now and let them establish. Wasn't expecting much in terms of getting a harvest out of them. And I didn't. The strawberries, the gooseberries, blueberries, there's cranberries, they didn't produce any fruit, which is kind of expected. I only put them in the ground in March and April. But stuff has grown incredibly well, particularly this mallow plant, which I cannot believe the growth. I got this as a tiny little cutting when I was doing work experience up in Leaf and Root Farm in Galway, and I just stuck it in the ground, and I've never seen such ridiculous growth. And I stuck it next to a horseradish plant, and again that was actually a root cutting this size, and I put that in the ground as well in April, and that's also flourished here. And in fact, the mallow and the horseradish are fighting for space. So I'm learning a bit about spacing and doing a lot of weeding here as well. I did make a mistake in that I didn't really kill the grass off very well here. I didn't tarp it long enough, and I'm always picking out clumps of grass, and I'm hoping just a little and often approach of keeping on top of the weeds here, and eventually you know, the plants will take over and take care of that. But what I did is I just created 2 beds of 10 meters in length, 1.5 meters wide, and I put wood chip in between. Looks pretty nice. I've got mint down at the bottom here. It's doing really well. I got a few different types of mint cuttings from Gardens for Life in Roscommon. They're great actually for mail order plants and cuttings, and I've ordered quite a few things off them now. So I've got 3 different types of mint: chocolate mint, basil mint, spearmint, I think. I've got a rhubarb over there as well, and again that was a small little plant that I got on the post from Gardens for Life, doing really well. It's lovely to see the bees around here. They love the mallow plant. In this row here, I put strawberries on each side. Yeah, as I said, no fruit this year, but the strawberries are now sending out runners, and I'm going to pot them up to get some new plants for next year. In the middle of this row, I have berry bushes, some chives. Here we've got a goji berry. And just look at the growth on that mallow, and it's even like invading the poor goji berry bush here. This is our rhubarb. This is an interesting one, Yacon Red, and that is a tuber that you can harvest. Here we've got cranberry, there we've got some yarrow, Rudbeckia there. I know I said perennial patch, so you might be thinking, what the hell is he doing growing potatoes and garden peas here, which are annuals. Well, the reason is I just had a lot of room left in the bed, and I also had a bag of Seville main crop potatoes, and they needed to go somewhere, so I stuck them in the ground and they're absolutely flying it. And I also I just threw a few peas in the middle between the potatoes, because I saved the seed last year and I just wanted to see, you know, how well they would do. And they're creeping up, as you can see, in the middle, and there's a few pods there already, which is great. So here you can see that the amazing way the strawberry plants propagate. I know they do produce seed, but they also send out what are called runners, and you can see here a couple little roots. These are essentially modified stems. They send them out from the parent plant, and then these runners will root in to the soil, and eventually, this is like an umbilical cord, they will detach themselves from the parent, and this becomes the new plant. You can see one here that's actually rooted into the wood chip, and it's pretty, yeah, it's starting to establish. So what I'll do here is I'll actually bring down a couple of pots. I'll stick the runners into them, allow them to root in, and when the new plant's established, I'll cut them away from the parent, and we'll have new plants for next year. It's a fantastic way of growing new strawberry plants.